Hari Om everyone. I welcome all of you to today's story time. We're going to listen to a really interesting and exciting story today. But let me tell you one thing. Almost half of the story, I think you would be narrating it because you know a lot about this story. So I'll be asking you a lot of little questions and maybe some quizzes. So I request all of you to please turn on your camera so it becomes more fun and interesting. Let's begin. We all know about the Mahabharata War, and we know that Pandavas, with the help of Krishna, they won the war, and it took 18 days. But if I ask you, who is the person who's the reason for the victory of Pandavas? Who deserves the complete credit? Who is the main reason? Who's going to tell me? Of course, I know all of us are this huge fan of Krishna, so I know all of us will say Krishna, Krishna. So except Krishna, because he wasn't fighting, let's just uh, let's just decide on some warrior and someone from Pandava's side or some warrior who fought, and let's just say it's because of him. Yes, Megha.
Abhimanyu? And the
Abhimanyu?
Pandava's hard work, and I think mostly it's Abhimanyu.
Oh, so Megha says it's because of Abhimanyu that we won the war. Who else has a different answer? Who has a different answer? Who wants to give a try? Okay, okay. So we say Abhimanyu. So it's said that after the war, Bhima and Arjuna start fighting amongst themselves. Bhima says, it's because of me that you won the war. So I deserve all the credit. Arjuna says, are you joking? It's because of me that we won the war. Like, see, I am the great warrior. Literally, it's me. I killed all of them. Okay, so here's another quick question. How many of the Kauravas did Arjuna kill? Who's going to tell me? How many Kauravas do you think that Arjuna killed? Some rough number is also fine, like the 100, right? How many do you think Arjuna killed? Yes, Megha.
20?
20? Okay. Come on, Tejas, Snigdha, Krupalini, all of you, take a guess. Go, Snigdha, what do you think? How many people did Arjuna kill? How many Kauravas
I
do you think
I
Arjuna?
don't really know.
I think
I can
uh,
guess.
I think maybe in the millions. I feel because he's really powerful.
But there were only 100 Kauravas, right?
I can
How many of
guess.
the
No, I
100?
mean in the Kaurava army.
I think
Okay.
30.
I meant the Kaurava brothers. There are 100 brothers. And how many of the brothers do you think Arjuna killed? Yes, Akshat.
I guess 145.
Some 45? Okay. Yes, Nigda.
I think 30.
Okay. So what if I told you? So be ready to be shocked. And if you're mind blown, do this. Okay. Arjuna killed zero Kauravas. Zero. Mind blown, right? Bhima killed all the 99. He didn't kill one of them because one of the Kaurava brothers joined the Pandavas army because he felt he should always support Dharma. So, except him, Bhima killed all the 99 of the Kaurava brothers because that's what he promised to Draupadi, remember? So, he killed them. So, that's the reason he thinks it's because of him that the Pandavas won the war. But what does Arjuna think? Arjuna says, I killed the greatest of warriors. Who are these Kauravas? They're no one, they're so weak, they're weaklings. I killed Drona, I killed Bhishma, I killed all these big warriors. Do you think it's easy? It's only because of me that you won. So, again, let me ask you a quick question. So, let's say two teams are playing cricket and you think one of the team wins, and in that team if you want to find out who is the best player or it's because of which one player that the entire team won, whom would you ask? Would you ask someone from the team? Whom would you think you would ask? Okay, let me give you two options. So the first option is you could ask someone from that particular team. Second option is you could, you know that you have a friend who watched that entire match in the stadium. He was sitting somewhere here, let's say. This is your friend. So you can ask your friend about who played the best. So which option are you going to go for? Yes, Kripalni.
I will ask my friend who is the best player in that team.
But why? Why not the team members? Why your friend?
Because the team members might argue that they played the best.
Right, very nice. Also, because your friend was here, he had this bird view. He saw everything from far, and he is this neutral, and he was seeing everything from far. He knew exactly which player went where, who hit the ball, who bowled best. He knows everything because he was sitting here, right? So Krishna has always wanted to solve this problem. He said, "Come, let me take you to a person who's observed the entire Mahabharata war from far. He's sitting somewhere above and he's looked at the entire Mahabharata war. Come on, I will show you that person and you can ask him the question yourself." So, to whom they all went to? They went to this great warrior. His name is Barbarika. He's just awesome. I'll tell you why. But before that, a quick introduction to Barbarika. Barbarika is the grandson of Bhima. He is the son of Ghatotgach and Maurvi. Maurvi is his mother. So that's the quick intro to Barbarika. So what's so special? Many of us might not have heard of his name, in fact. So if he's such a great warrior, then why don't we know him? And why did he participate in the war in the first place? So let me first tell you about his super powers. So we know that there's so many people. Tejas says there are a million people in the war. So how many arrows do you think would be needed to finish the war or to kill or to kind of defeat all the people in the war? You may say thousands or hundreds, lakhs, millions. But Barbarica could finish the entire war in just three arrows. Just three arrows. Can you imagine? So he'd take the first arrow. He had this super boon that great Rishi gave him. He could take the first arrow and he could mark everything that he wanted to shoot. Then he could take the second arrow, mark everything that he did not want to shoot. Basically, mark everything he wanted to save. And then the third arrow, just that one arrow, would shoot all the things he marked in the first arrow. Once Krishna wanted to test Barbarika. So he went in the form of an old sage and he asked him, "Prove to me that you're a great warrior. Show me your powers. Show me how these three arrows work. I want to know." So Barbarika asks Krishna, "What do you want me to do?" So Krishna says, "Do you see that tree? There's so many leaves in the tree. I want you to shoot all the leaves in the tree with one arrow. Can you do that?" So Barbarika says, "Okay." So he takes the first arrow and he closes his eyes. And when he is telling his mantra, the divine mantra, Krishna intelligently picks one leaf, puts it under his leg, like puts it under his shoes, and he just stands on that leaf to just make sure how would Barbarika handle it. So Barbarika lets the arrow to mark. He says, "Mark all the leaves of this tree." So the arrow goes and marks each and every leaf. It goes from one leaf to another. Zing, zing, it just goes quickly, marks everything. And then it comes to Krishna's leg and it starts revolving around Krishna's leg. Then Krishna asks, "Why? What is happening, Barbarika?" So Barbarika says, "I think, dear Rishi, that one leaf must have been under your shoes. But because I said, oh, you should mark all the leaves, I think that arrow is circling around your legs. And because I didn't really mention that it should touch your leg, that's the reason it's kind of afar and it's looking for that leaf." Can you, now I think all of us get the idea of such a powerful warrior he was. So it would have been really beneficial, don't you think, if Barbarika was a part of Pandava's team? It said that once Karna, Dronacharya, and Bhishma and Arjuna were asked, how many days would you need to finish off this Mahabharata war? Different warriors gave different answers. Some said I need 10 days, some said I need 22 days, and so on. But Barbarica said I just need a few seconds to finish this entire war. So, if you think it would have been awesome if Barbarica was in the war participating on the Pandavas side, show me a thumbs up. If you don't know, say, I don't know. Okay, all of us say yes. I felt that too. But there's a twist in the story. That is when his rishi, when his guru gave him the 3 arrows, the divine arrows, the very, very powerful ones, his guru gave him a condition. That is, you will always fight on the side that is weak, that is losing. Whenever you participate in a war, you'll always fight on the weaker side. There's a catch here. So, amongst the Pandavas and the Kauravas, here the weaker doesn't exactly mean based on the quality or how skilled the warriors are. Weak just means the team where they're like lesser warriors. So, whichever side has less number of warriors, they would be the weaker side according to this, according to his guru. So here in Pandavas and Kauravas, Pandavas would be the weaker side in the first glance, right? Because they have the less number of warriors. They had just 7 Akshahunis, whereas Kauravas had 11 Akshahunis. So Barbarica would go there. But because Barbarica in himself was a very big army, as soon as he entered Pandava's team would become so powerful, and Kaurava's team would become very, 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 very weak. So the Barbarica would have to shift to Kaurava's team. And as soon as he entered Kaurava's team would become very strong and Pandavas would become very weak. So it keep moving and moving and the war would never begin. Forget about ending. The war would never begin because Barbarica would keep shifting sides. So this was a big problem. So Krishna did this. Krishna said, I want to ask you something. Would you give it to me? So Barbarica said, yes, yes, my dear sage, you ask me for anything. If it's possible, I will definitely give it to you. So Krishna says, I want your head. Without a second thought, Barbarica takes his arrow, cuts his head, and places it in Krishna's hands. He says, here you go. Krishna is so deeply touched. Can you imagine someone just doing that just because someone asked him, just giving off his head? Can you imagine? So Krishna was so deeply touched that he came back to his true self. Remember, I told you Krishna was in disguise in the form of an old sage. So he came back to his form, his divine form. That's Krishna. So he revealed that he's Lord Krishna. So that's when Barbarica says, I have absolutely no regret giving you my head, but I have one wish. Would you please grant that to me, Krishna? So Krishna says, yes. Barbarica then says, I want to view the entire Mahabharata war because this is a great war. None of it, such a war hasn't happened in the past, nor will it ever happen in the future. So I really want to watch this war from no matter how or where, it's all okay, but I just want to watch the war. That's when Krishna tells him, okay, see, here's this big, huge mountain. I'll place your head on top of that mountain and you will be able to see the entire war. And that's the story of how Barbarica was viewing the entire Mahabharata war. Now, this was flashback. Quickly come back to the present moment in the story where Bhima and Arjuna were fighting about who is the great warrior. So Krishna takes them to this Barbarica warrior and he says, go ask Barbarica who's the greatest warrior. That's when Barbarica says, it's not because of someone who's fought the war that you've won. None of these warriors who was fighting is the reason for Pandava's victory. It's because of a person who never fought. It's because of Krishna. But we all knew it, right? That's the reason all of us were very quiet and we didn't answer that question. So first of all, big round of applause to all of you because you all knew it. You didn't have to ask Barbarica. But Bhima and Arjuna had this realization. Oh, yes, it's so true. Because there's so many great warriors on Kaurava's side, and it's only because of Krishna's advice, Krishna's guidance, and his blessings, his grace. It's only because of Krishna that we've been able to win this war. So that was how they realized it, and I know we all knew it already that it's because of Krishna, the hero. There's another interesting thing. After all of this, Krishna blessed Barbarika that he would be called by the name Shyam. We know that Shyam is the name of Krishna, right? Because Krishna loved Barbarika so much, he gave Barbarika his own name, Shyam. And he said, people, my devotees, will all worship you, they will all pray to you, and all of them are also very dear to me. So you are a great warrior, and your sacrifice will be remembered for ages, and they will all worship you. And may all of them who listen to your story become just as brave and become just as blessed as you are. So I guess now all of us are very brave, just like Barbarika, and we're all super blessed. So he is worshipped in the name of Khatu Shyamji Maharaj, and it's more prominent in Rajasthan. So this is the temple, the main idol of Khatu Shyamji Maharaj in the temple. I hope all of you enjoyed the story with all of this learning and all of the wisdom in us. Let's join our hands, close our eyes, and I request all of you to chant along with me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna. So now now we'll pick three most the luckiest persons who will be getting the chance to share their understanding or what they love the most. But before that, I'll take questions. Sohan, you raised your hand. Do you have a question?
No, I want to add something.
Yes.
Then
please.
Bhishma and Drone says that I need 1 month each of them.
Okay.
But
Mhm.
Abhimanyu, the son of Drone, says I need just 10 days. And Karna says I need just 5 days. But Barbarika says I need just a few seconds to destroy one side of the army.
Wow, very nice, Sohan. Excellent. Big round of applause. But I think Sohan meant Arjun, not Drona. Right, Sohan? You're on mute. Okay. Yes, Megha.
Yeah, Manya actually had a doubt. What was the section of of the army called? And I don't know what that means also.
Okay, it's called Akshahuni.
Okay. What does that mean correctly?
Okay, Akshahuni, it's like a very nice thing. It has this combination of multiple elephants, some foot soldiers, some horse, and all of that together. It's like Akshahuni. So how about, I don't know the exact numbers. I can share it in the group after this class.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you, Manya.
Sure. Yes, Nigda.
I have a question. So, could you repeat like the last part which you told about the story about how the idol came?
So there at the same place where Barbarica was observing the entire war, at the same place on the mountain, they built a temple to remember his sacrifice and to always worship him. Like when Krishna asked him, and without any questions, he just offered his head. That is so selfless, and it shows that the person is so pure from heart, right? So to remember all those qualities and to keep reminding ourselves that we too must imbibe such qualities in us For that, they kind of built a temple, and many people, it's a very popular temple. A lot of devotees go to the temple and they pray. And there they call him Khatu Shyamji Maharaj.
And also one more question. How can, like, when he already removed his head, how can he talk? Like, his head is already removed, but how is he talking when he's giving it to Krishna?
Yes. I know that's the question we all would get when we read the story. But then in Mahabharata, there's so many things that happen, even in Ramayana, which may seem impossible in today's world. But then we never know if it's just a story or if they had some technology which helped them do all of that. Because we also know that Sanjaya, who narrated the entire Mahabharata war, he wasn't even there, right? He was seeing it from somewhere else. He had the Divya Drishti. It was the blessings of Veda Vyas. So there's so many things like this. So we never know if.
Can I add something?
Yes, Vijayji, please.
Snigdha, you dream, don't you?
Yes.
And in your dream, some characters, whatever the characters that come up in your dream, some of them, they do talk, don't they?
Yes, Ji.
How are they talking?
Ji, because my mind is like making them talk. It's like all that imagination is coming.
Right? So, one way of understanding is like how Maanya said, which is, see, at the end of the day, we think of, especially in our stories, right? When it is said, okay, somebody's head is cut, like even in the story of Shiva and Ganesha, it says that Shiva cut the head of Ganesha. What it essentially means is, see, there is a head of ignorance also in us. See, sometimes when I don't understand, and I say I know everything, so somebody comes and asks, how many fingers are there in a hand? I say, there are 7 fingers. Somebody says, no, stupid, idiot, fellow, no, there are only 5 fingers. I say, no, 7 fingers. Then, they hold my hand and then they count and then show me. Then I say, oh, correct, now I understand. So earlier I had a head of ignorance. Now that head of ignorance is gone. Now I have a head that understands, oh, 5 fingers, right? So in our stories, many a times the head is cut. This symbol comes in many, many stories. So here you can also understand that something called as an ignorance is in your mind, my mind. And when that ignorance gone, many a times in the stories, it is also referred as head is cut. So why would Shiva, who is a very compassionate God, cut the head of his own son? So what it means is ignorance was removed.
So it's like a metaphor.
Like a symbol.
Okay.
So that's why you see Chamundi also, she's holding the head of who? That Mahishasura, right?
Yeah.
So like that, you see all these gods and goddesses many a times holding head. Many people misunderstand it. They think, oh, this is very cruel God. No.
Yeah. Even I used to think that sometimes.
It is to symbolize removal of ignorance.
Okay. Thank you, Ji.
Thank you, Vijayji.
Thank you.
So now let's move to the most fun part of the story, that is quiz time. So I request all of you to raise your hand and then you can answer. So quickly, there are just 3 questions. First, what name is the warrior Barbarica worshipped now as? Mahendra Shyam Khanaji, Khatu Shyamji Maharaj, Mahavir Maharaj Ji, or Sri Bhargavaji? Yes, Kripalini.
Barbarica is worshipped as Khatu Shyamji Maharaj.
Awesome, very nice. Superb. Next question. Who is Barbarica's mother? Hidimba, Ahilyavati, or Maurvi?
Hidimba.
Hidimba is Bhima's wife. So it's Maurvi. But really good try. Very nice, Sohan. Awesome. So this is the most important question. Imagine, let me tell you the context of this of this particular question, we know that Barbarica's guru told him to fight on the weaker side. So the main intention here was that he uses his powers to always help the one who's oppressed, the one who's weak, to help them, and use his powers to always help such people and not to use it for his own selfish reasons. So now let us look at this question. Imagine you are playing a game with friends, and you notice one friend is struggling and feeling left out. What would you do? A. Ignore them and continue playing. B. Help your friend and make sure everyone is having fun. C. Only play with the friends who are winning. D. Just stop playing the game. Yes, Diyadisha.
According to my wish, I say helping your friend and making sure everyone is having fun.
Yes, Sohan, correct answer. I think you weren't audible, Diya. Also, it would be awesome, right, if all of us like raise our hands and then answer. But Sohan, amazing, you got the answer correct. It's right. Help your friend and make sure everyone is having fun. With that, we come to an end with the story, but the wisdom from the story is always there. Hari Om.